Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do something today that I've been wanting to do for some time since I bought this little piece of equipment at an auction, and we're going to make some rope. So stick around. If you've never made rope before and you're interested in that, we'll show you how to do it. So let's stop for a second and I'll show you what our setup is. So if you remember at one of the auctions, we got this little rope winder, and it was patented in 1901. Pretty cool. And then it's mounted on here. It's made to fit like on a buckboard or maybe even a fence board and slide over it. And then you just put like a screw in it to hold it. We've actually got it backwards on here so you can see the mechanism like that. Here's what it looks like on the business end of it. We just got a piece of 3/4 plywood that we just clamped in our vise here. So you just turn the handle and all three of those hooks spin the same direction. So on the other end, what we did was we took our dolly, we put our 50-pound scale test weight down there on the dolly to provide a little bit of tension. But we need this dolly to move a little bit as the rope gets tight as we make it. And then we just put a swivel hook on here. You need the swivel. So let's get the rope wound. You can use any type of cordage that you want. We're going to use some of this jute twine, just regular garden twine. You can use anything you like, nylon, cotton, whatever. So let's get this thing strung up. So you want to start out, just put a loop on one end, hook it over your swivel, and then come to the other end, take your twine, just pick one of your hooks, doesn't matter which, and just loop it around your hook. And then we're going to go back to the swivel, we'll loop it through the swivel, come back to another hook, loop it around, and we're going to go back till we eventually have 2 strands on each hook, and then we'll just tie the other end down on the other side as well. There's what it looks like when it's done. We have one looped around all of them, and then we looped around here, and then we've got just 2 tied ends hooked to here also. So next thing we need is our little tool here. You'll come down further on the twine down here where it gets a little tighter, and we'll put our little separator on there. It's just a wood block with 3 holes, and then we just cut with the bandsaw into the holes so you can slip it on there. We leave a tail on here so it doesn't want to spin or flop around as we're making the rope. So now you just come back here to your spinner, start turning the crank. It's going to spin to each individual line into its own as it twists those together. And then it'll start getting tight down on the other end. And then as we go, it'll also spin the 3 lines together. Just keep spinning for a while. Now you can see as it gets tighter, you'll see these wheels start to roll a little bit. Now once it gets tight enough, your individual strands will start twisting into a single strand. And then as you move this, you can see the rope starts twisting, but you don't want to go too far because it'll get loose. And we'll do a little bit more till you see this handle come up a little bit and almost want to flip, and then we'll do some more. So we'll show you this handle as we crank. Yeah, it gets tension on it, it'll start coming up. So we want to stop right before it tries to flip over. We'll stop about right there. We'll go down here. Give it a pull. Now once you're down here far enough where you can reach this, you can just keep going and bring it down as you go. Eventually you can take your piece off of there. And that's probably as tight as we want to go there. Good looking rope all the way down. Now if you have any areas in your rope that aren't consistent, say like this one here looks a little looser right here, all you got to do is come down here to your swivel and give it a few twists, tighten it up, and your whole rope will become perfectly consistent. So we're going to go old school and do what's called whipping. So what you do for whipping is you leave a loop here on this end, and then you take some of your original twine that you used and you go around your new rope, just whipping it around like that. Make it fairly snug because we don't want that to come loose. You might have seen this done on old ropes. You might see these little ends on them. So once we lose the rest of that, you put it through your loop like that, and we'll hold that tight on the rope. And then you want to take your loose end over here. I grab it with a pair of pliers, and you want to pull that loop down, which locks our tag in there, and then we want to pull it inside just a little bit, and then we can clip off our nub here and right there, and we have a perfectly whipped end. Now if you're using like nylon rope, once you cut this later, you can burn that back to where it's real clean and burn these little nubs. You won't even be able to tell that's there. Now here's an old-fashioned whip with a wire clip there, or they would even just tie a knot on the end. Now that we've got both ends whipped, you can come in here, cut your rope. Now with this jute rope, you can see how it's got all the little fibers sticking out. A quick thing you can do with your rope to eliminate those is just hit them really quick with the torch, and it burns them all back, and then you don't have those little fibers anymore. So you can see our nice little rope there that we made with our whipped ends that aren't going to come apart, and that keeps the rope from unraveling. And you can see this is some nylon stuff we did a while back. You can see how you can melt back those ends and make them look real tidy. This was just made out of pink twine. This stuff right here, little itty bitty twine. Got that given to me at a yard sale. So I'm looking for cordage now wherever I go so I can make rope. So we've got two different colors of paracord on here. We've got green and yellow, which is another thing you can do. Now when we get done with this rope will be more green than yellow. If you wanted more yellow than green, you would do 2 strands or 4 strands of the yellow. So you can mix and match your colors. You could even do 3 colors, do a different color on each double strand. We've got it hooked up down there. Let's get it twisting. So using a regular cordage, I've never run into this problem, but with the paracord I have, probably because it's stretchy. I had to hang a clamp on the end of my divider there, and also when I go to do that and move that, I had to tie my handle down because my handle wants to untwist. But we'll keep going. It's working out. Rope came out pretty cool. Now that we've got our little whip made, being this is nylon, we can melt the ends a little bit, keep them from fraying. Now say you wanted to make like a dog leash out of this or something, what I would do is I would just tape that end so it's real thin, and then you just fold it over. Say get you a little snap, and then you'd fold it over like that, and then you could whip around both instead of just one of them. and that will give you a little loop on the end there. Now with these twisted ropes, you can actually braid them back into themselves to make loops and to tie up the end of your rope as well instead of whipping it. But that's a whole nother video. We'll do that someday for you. It's a pretty cool deal. So hope you enjoyed our rope making session here. And I was real glad to use our new little fixture here that we bought at the auction. Super cool. And I'm going to be looking out for a lot of cordage here in the future. So we'll get out in the Quonset hut and make big, long ropes. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. We hope to see you again here real soon on Mark Kelly Farm. See ya.